Happy Diecember and Cyber Monday. Oh my gosh, all at the same time. Good morning from Columbus, Ohio, and I'm here with Reed and Brian and some special guests in the background, which will be coming out soon. We're here to celebrate Diecember with you and a very special Cyber Monday surprise. Thank you for joining us live. It looks like we've got the chat building energy. We're going to be doing a big reveal any second. We do already have the surprise on our website. I think the image is getting ready to pop in. Stephanie, you can pop in that image whenever you're ready. And Reed, will you bring in our special guest?
Woohoo! Good morning.
Happy Diecember, Tim. Hey,
Happy
Mario!
Diecember.
Happy December, Mario! We've got our matching sweaters, green.
Matchy. I know.
Yeah.
I didn't get the memo. Should have wore green.
Aw. Thank you guys, because you are on Arizona time, so it's even earlier for you all today than it is for us here in Ohio. So thank you.
Still not as early as like Pacific time, but that's all right. Like we're kind of right in the middle, which is good. But we don't change. But it is dark. But hey, happy to be here. We got to kick off Cyber Monday with a party, right?
Yeah.
What it is.
The only thing would be better if I was partying there with you, but that was just for Stamptember. So here, Tim and I get to be side by side in Columbus, Ohio, and in Arizona. And Tim, thank you so much for doing this Monday, Cyber Monday, Diecember surprise with us. Do you want to do a count of 3 and show on the screen in our hand what it is?
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Ta-da!
Woohoo!
Be of good cheer. We are here.
Cute. This is it. This is our 5th year doing this. Can you believe that?
5 years. Okay, so the first year was the first year the Cardinal.
I have them all. I have them all. So yeah, we can go through. So first off, what this is, you can tell them about like what this Be of Good Cheer is for those that this is their first Cyber Monday and they don't even know what this is and they're like, can I buy it? Can I buy it? So go ahead and do all the housekeeping of it and then we'll take a stroll down memory lane.
Good call, Tim. So Be of Good Cheer is our exclusive gift with purchase. This is a limited edition. It's available right now at simonsaystamp.com. If you purchase any Tim Holtz products, that's Sizzix branded, Ideology branded, Ranger branded, Stampers Anonymous, any Tim Holtz branded product, even the new fabric, which is beautiful, you qualify for this free gift with purchase. No code needed. So once you put $25 of Tim Holtz branded product in your Simon Says Stamp shopping cart, this will automatically be added into your shopping cart. It's like the little magic elves behind the scenes. They just put that in for us. So it's while supplies last, but I want to make sure that you all know what's different about this in Stamptember is we will definitely have enough to get through today. And we usually, in those other 5 years, had enough to get through a few weeks. Didn't last all month long, but our goal is to keep this going. There's so many fun ideas, which we're going to share with you in today's live. There's so many fun things you can do with these dies. They're not just holiday. I think that snowman brings us festive into even January, February, if you got snow wherever you are. So those are the details, Tim. So do you want to walk down memory lane a little bit? Sure.
So the thing to note is that this is a special collab that I have the honor of doing with Heidi. We kind of get together. This is an exclusive design that is not sold, and it will not be sold. So it will never become part of the die collection. So it does become a little bit collectible, I will say. Our first year was 2020, when I think that was the first time you reached out and you're like, you know, I want to do Diecember. Diecember is a little different because Diecember really is a Simon branded celebration, but it celebrates die cutting. And you're like, I'd really love to do a gift. And I think at this time I designed the Feathered Friends Thinlit. And you're like, I would really love a cardinal. You know, we have a special connection to cardinals, especially when, you know, Heidi and I see that. And that was the first time we did it. And, you know, you could see there's no like Diecember branding or nothing at that point. But this was back in 2020, again, exclusive. And sometimes people have seen this die, because especially I've seen it online, and they're like, where do you get it? I don't see it at all. But that's what it was. That was the 2020. Then in 2021, Heidi was like, we really need to go full on Christmas. So we did Dash Away All. And this was taking a lot of favorites that we had done. And Heidi was like, I wish you could make this a different size. And I wish you could bring in those little sparkles different. So this was kind of, I would say, more curated to what Heidi wanted as far as size and scale, which this is a charming one. It works great with the village dies, paper village, but also great for cards. And then in 2022, Heidi created even more chaos because we had launched Twig and Stump that year, those wonderful little snow people. And she's like, I would love little ones. And so we did Chili and Freezy. And of course, these little guys, they're so great because they, you get both perspectives, both views, the clothes, and it created so much chaos that for Vault this year, we actually added Shrub, which is Chili and Freezy's relative, just a different size and a whole different orientation for those that maybe missed that Diecember in 2022. Again, it's still not the same as Chili and Freezy. You don't get the little ear muffs or the little hearts or the clothes, but something that kind of works together. And then last year, see, a lot of this is Heidi. Heidi will get on a call and she's like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we did? So see, she has that wouldn't it be great concept the same way I do. But last year we did Walter, and she loved when I did the colorized penguin of Eugene. She's like, oh, I just think a little penguin would be so cute. And so we did Walter, and we thought we were pretty with it because we packed 10 different dies on this free Walter die where you could dress him up with the little Santa hat and the scarf or the bow tie and the glasses or not. And to Heidi's point, the penguin could be used all year. I even did makes where he had sunglasses on, he was at the beach. I mean, it's just really a fun die last year. But this year, when Heidi was like, well, yeah, I don't know, do you have any ideas for Christmas? This is true. I actually had this art that I really wanted to turn into a die, but I didn't have anything else to kind of go with it, right? To make like a big thinlet set. And I'm like, well, I've actually been holding, and I think I've had this art for, gosh, it's been several years. Like I have this really great art that I wanted, but I don't know if it's gonna be too complex for a Diecember giveaway. And she's like, oh, what do you got? And I showed her this and she's like, oh my gosh, I love it. It has such a cute, almost kind of old school holiday cartoons is really what it reminds me of, like the stop motion, but it has a retro vibe, it's got a vintage vibe, but it also has a cute vibe. And it's two characters and the stars, but it's not as complex as colorized, but it has a lot of layers. There are 17 dies on this set, this gift with purchase, 17 dies. And so a shout out to Jen at Sizzix, because when we gave her the task of sticking to the same template in order to obviously meet a budget that Heidi could give away, she was able to do every little piece that I wanted to achieve this look on the template. So yeah, it's always fun to collaborate because I think we do the impossible, right? We're like, wouldn't it be great if we can do it? And I think at one time we were talking about settling on one or the other, where Heidi's like, well, if it's only one, we can do this. Or even Heidi was crazy enough to say, well, I'll just spend more money and give more money away. And I'm like, well, let's just slow it down here. Because see, she's laughing because she knows it's true. Because when it comes to creatives, right, money's no object at that point. When the creative spark takes over, you're like, I just need it, so whatever it takes. But so really, a shout out to you, Heidi, for being so great to work with on these, and to Sizzix for getting these done, and to you. But like, it does become collectible. So I mean, now we're 5 years in for those of you that have them.
Quick question.
Quick question, Tim.
Can you reiterate the promotion?
Okay, I'm going to reiterate the promotion before Tim goes screen down and shows you the details of those 17 dies. Oh my gosh, Tim. And kudos to Tim for getting 17 dies to create these beautiful images. Okay, so the details. This Be of Good Cheer is our Diecember Cyber Monday exclusive. It is only available at Simon Says Stamp. It will be added to your shopping cart with any Tim Holtz $25 in product. So whether it's Ranger or Ideology, any Tim Holtz product, it will automatically, these little elves are in the background adding these to your carts, and you'll see it on your screen. If you don't see it on your screen, which just, by the way, happened to me when we went live, you just have to refresh, clear your cookies, refresh your screen. It is live on our website right now. So any $25 in product. It's limited edition, which means when it's sold out, it will never be brought back again. So Tim talked about being collectible. I'm a collector. I use my products too, but I most certainly collect certain ones, and these are those for me. So it's limited. We do hope to have enough to go weeks into December. We'll see. It depends on how crazy you guys go, because you can get more than one. If you place multiple orders on at different times, this will keep being added to your cart until they're gone. Once they're gone, they're gone. Okay, Reed, did I do an okay job explaining?
You did. There's one clarifying question.
Okay.
Do the Simon Says stamp coordinating dies that coordinate with Tim Holtz stamps qualify?
I'm not sure. I'll check that out. You guys can pop in your cart and check. I'm not sure. But if now is a good time for Tim to show how to use these 17 dies to make these cute little adorable things, is now an
It's so
okay time
fun.
for that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think because what's really great, like you were talking, Heidi, is collecting these. You have for each $25 purchase, as you purchase throughout the month, you'll have one to use, one to collect. Maybe you have them for friends that you can gift, that are into die cutting, that maybe don't have the budget to shop, and you shop for them. So there you go. I think it's great. But I wanted to take you through and talk about really the designs in this Diecember exclusive, this Be of Good Cheer, because there are a lot of dies, but I do not want you to be intimidated. It is so simple to put together. It really, really is. Okay? So this whole concept was about creating little figures, because I think throughout the holiday season, sometimes it's very overwhelming on what to make or how to create a lot of handcrafted things. And I think that really has to do with time is one thing, but I think creative options is another thing. We have all of these things that we've acquired, and it's like, oh, I want to do this. And some of it's a little bit more ambitious than others. And so I thought this die was really great because you can create two different icons that could be used almost as stickers. So the 17 dies cut out a lot of stuff, okay? There are shapes that will cut out the pieces to actually build Santa, the pieces that will cut out all the shapes to build Frosty, the little snowman, and some little sparkles. And these could be stars, these could be snowflakes, they could be whatever it is that you want them to be. And there is a build. Now you have options. Obviously, as makers, you could cut all of this out of white cardstock, and you could do the coloring with your inks or your markers or paints, or you can take colored cardstock and you could cut the little elements out of colored cardstock. And these graphics that I'm sharing throughout this live, I'll also be posting these on Instagram as photos, so you could take screenshots or keep those, and I'll do a blog post as well, so you'll be able to kind of capture that image if you need that for future reference, okay? So these little pieces, we'll start with Santa. That'll be good. I'll kind of move this stuff off. There is kind of an order to the build. Now this is just the way I did it. So anytime I show a build of a die or colorize or anything, you still need to do you. Okay, don't be like, well, Tim said to do it this way. This is just the way that I did it, that I found it easiest, because again, to pack something of this level as a free gift with purchase, you have to make a few compromises. Typically with colorize, we engrave the color name and stuff on the back of the die. We didn't do that for this because the dies are very small, but I still didn't want to exclude any of the magic, any little trickery. So here's my suggestion, okay? If you cut out the pieces first out of your colored cardstock, you could really do a lot of, I think, assembly line creating, where you're like, okay, I know that this die is going to be my base, and so I'm going to cut that out of black cardstock, and I'm just going to cut a bazillion pieces, and you make as many as you want to cut. Then when you go to white, you're going to cut out all your pieces, and so on, if you're following this color chart. So you can do all of your cuts just one night. And the best thing, of course, is that these fit the Sidekick or any kind of small machine. Of course, they'll work with any of your other die machines as well, but if you have a Sidekick, this is great while you're watching those holiday movies. You can just do that and cut all your pieces and put all the different colors in. Well, I use portion cups, as you can tell, very high tech, right? They work. I like to put adhesive on the back of my cardstock before I die cut, and I talked about this before. I use a Xyron machine with an adhesive cartridge, and I run sheets of colored cardstock through the Xyron first, and then I die cut the pieces. So then everything that I have cut out is essentially a sticker. It just makes it easier for me. But there are other adhesive products out there that you can put on the back of cardstock, different adhesive sheets, or some people, they love liquid glue because you can maneuver it. Well, I still believe you can maneuver stuff with the Xyron. So let me just talk about the build. I use a craft pick, so I want something that's gonna have a really, oh, my phone's not focusing, a really sharp point. So even something more than a die pick, just something that's really, really sharp. And that's how I'm gonna do the build. So I start with the background. The background is going to be the color that's going to ultimately show through the eyes. So if you wanted a different color, that's fine, you do whatever. Then I'm gonna take my white layer. Now the white layer, all of these dies are going to be separate. So the way the dies are designed, as much as possible, I wanted to keep a shape separate. So we've got a framelit, obviously for the black, that's gonna give us a little real estate on the template, things you probably don't care about, but all has to do with real estate, how many shapes you can fit in this. These, of course, are already detabbed, so you don't have to worry about cutting these apart. These are already detabbed and filed, which is also a great bonus for you guys. But the white pieces, that's gonna be the beard and that little pom-pom, those are separate. So you just put them on the same piece of white cardstock and cut and get the real estate. So sometimes when you use Xyron, the little pieces don't fall out, and that's okay. Don't freak your freak. But all I'm gonna do is hold it between my fingers, and I need to keep my distance so my eyes work. But I just slide the pick in between the cardstock and the layer. Let me just do that to where my eyes can actually focus. And that's just gonna peel off that release paper. So that just kind of takes off the sticker part. It also just automatically pulled out that inside. And then I'm just going to line it up and build. So I just really line it up with my fingers. So it goes quick because it is quick. Don't overthink it. So I'm just gonna do that with each piece. The build actually is very quick. I'll admit, and I'm sure probably many makers are the same way, it's hard to make on camera, I think mostly because of my eyes. I like to have things really close to my face, and for whatever reason, I like to have my tongue stick out at the same time, just probably for balance. You know, you guys can relate. Next is gonna be the shadow or the highlight. So I did this out of kind of a bluish cardstock. You could do any color that you want. When I peel this off, you can see that when I cut it, the little piece even stuck into the cardstock. So I chop up scraps of card. I mean, you would see the little bowls that I have of pre-adhesive backed cardstock. Really, a little goes a long way. So I'm just gonna peel that off. So that just gives me the piece that I need. And these pieces are weird. You know, you're gonna look at this and be like, what in the world? But all you do is set it right along the edge, and there it is, there's your shadow. So you don't have any lines to follow, anything other than the outline or the contour of the shape. You don't have to worry about crease lines or how to build. It's very, very forgiving, and I'll show you. All right, this little pom-pom highlight, for me, it's a little bit of a boogie. All right.
While you're assembling, Tim, a couple questions for Heidi. Can you use more than one promotion per order? So if they're doing the gift with purchase, can they also use the $5 off or $15 off code?
Let's have Tim assemble, and I want to double check that.
You got it.
Because you and I have conflicting answers. I want to double check that. I'm texting Stephanie. Let Tim assemble.
We'll get that clarified. Go ahead, Tim.
All right. So anytime that you have, and I'll talk about this with the snowman, anytime you have little pieces on your Xyron, you always want to make sure that you don't have anything stuck to the back. So I'm just kind of scraping that little piece off. And this is where things get a little tricky when we talk about the face. So let me just explain that. The face piece kind of fits right in this area. Now, I can't really put the face on this level because I have no markings as where it goes. So I kind of need this white piece down. So you could essentially put the face at this point. It's just a template, because what we need to do is these little cheeks here, we need to add the cheeks. Now, of course, it's all about creative options. You might want to have the cheeks sitting on top of the beard. That's fine. I liked mine tucked under. And so here's what you need to do. You might be like, well, that's just counterintuitive because you already stuck stuff down. The great thing about adhesive is that you can also take that same needle tool and go underneath the layer, and I just slide this over. That's just going to lift some of that adhesive off a little bit. See how I'm able to lift it up? Even though this is permanent adhesive, it's very, very forgiving. Then I'll take this little cheek, and this is a part that I think a lot of makers are like, you know what, I'm just going to use a marker or ink because I can't be bothered with little pieces. But if you have adhesive on it and you peel off the back, you can stick it to that pick, place it down, and use the pick to kind of, like I lift up the face and I kind of drag that little piece where I want it to be. So here I'm just gonna position it, I think, under a little bit more. There's no right or wrong, honestly. It just depends on, you know, how cold it is outside, where you want that rosy cheek to be. Okay, and do the same thing, the other piece. I say that all the time, like, I cannot do this on camera, but I'm gonna do it. And this was a conversation I had with Mario. I'm like, I'm gonna build on camera. He goes, you hate that, you can't ever see the pieces. And I'm like, no, but I'll take it off camera so I can get it, you know, half an inch from my face. There we go. Peel that off. Same thing, just lift this, put it underneath. Now again, if you had liquid adhesive, that would give you that same flexibility to kind of move it, but just position it, do like that. So once you're kind of happy with where the cheeks are, then you can just lay that piece right down and it can go over that. Simple, simple, simple. Then we're gonna do the hat. The hat could be any color. You've got a regular color and then you also have a little shadow, because I felt like the little shadow pieces, besides that, that's something really cool with colorized dyes. It also gives, I think, a lot more dimension. Could you do this with ink? Sure you could. But I think having different colors of cardstock, like this is the dark piece of the red, we're on this layer right here, it's just the final step. So it's whatever two colors you want. If you want it to be white, if you want it to be green. And again, I'm just using the outer edge of the die just to pop it in place. It's like fill in the blanks, and that's it. Santa's done, finished. So it's peel and stick, peel and stick, peel and stick. Quick build. So far, so good. All these little release paper things, done. And we'll do the snowman real quick.
I love your Xyron trick. It makes assembly not just a breeze, but fun.
Yeah, it does. It makes it super easy because it's like stickers, and I like the fact that I don't have to fight with getting adhesive residue everywhere. But again, that's just me. That's what I like. So this one, oh my gosh, he's so fun to build, but I had to do a little compromise. So I think it's important, and I really appreciate the opportunity that we have this live so I can talk about this, because I'm sure if you got this die, you'd be like, what was he doing? What was he thinking? None of this stuff makes sense. Okay. For this particular one, I had to do some, I don't know, some finesse to the shape, where you will see that unlike Santa, where we had the black base and that beard fit right over the top, you'll see on the snowman that there's definitely some reveal of the black base layer, and that's okay, because I needed to have a little bit of room, so I couldn't actually make the face the same size as the circle, but everything's gonna get covered up, so you need to trust that. This black circle is completely wonky. It's not a perfect circle, and really there's no specific way to turn this to make it match up. So don't overthink it, really. Thinking on this is totally overrated, okay? So I'm going to take my white layer, I'm gonna peel this off. Another thing that was important is all these little tiny dots for his face. Sometimes on a die set I've designed it where you actually have to stick these on, you know, they're individual, but I didn't want to do that. Instead, I wanted to cut them out, and then the background layer is the reveal. Does that make sense? So here's how you get these little pieces out that have Xyron. So I've already peeled off the back paper. I just stick this onto my finger, use the pick and actually press those down and lift it off. Now, if you have lotion on, that's not gonna work, so don't do that. Just wanna have your just skin. You could probably do this with gloves, but I don't know if that's gonna sticky very well. So push down. So you're not really jabbing into your finger, but using the pad of your finger. And then when you peel that off, everything stays. So it's an easy way to take out those little pieces. See, now and you have a little smile. So you can just give yourself a little smile. You're gonna take these pieces and you're gonna kind of line it up over on the left. So see, I'm gonna leave all the black over here on the right-hand side. That's fine. Now, how do you get this off your fingers? Well, if you're like me, I can't stand that. So I just take a piece of cardstock and I just scrape it off. So that's what I'm doing off to the side. I just use the tag because nothing's better than a piece of cardstock just to use as a scraper. Okay, now we've got this guy. So next, same thing, little shadow. So each of those dies have the same components. So you can use the same colors. If you're cutting the shadow for Santa, you can take the little shadow die And you can put that on the same piece of cardstock when you're cutting that shadow, if you're doing all of those pieces. And that just goes kind of anywhere on the side, but that's where we start covering up that black. See, there's no, again, this can all be moved around. Don't overthink it. Thinking is so overrated. Next we have just the face pieces. So same thing, he's got cheeks. Now on the die, we gave one cheek die. So that little die with the 2 dots, that's your cheek color. So you can do whatever you want with that. So I'm just going to take that, we're going to peel that. And again, there's no marks on the base die, so you can put it wherever you want. I think the thing about building a snowman is that where you position things, you know, whether you do the cheeks or his nose, or it changes the whole personality, whether he's looking up or to the side or down, especially when it comes to that carrot nose. I think that's great. So same thing, I'm peeling that off, putting that on the back of the pick. The pick is helping me position it, stick it down, done. Carrot nose, same thing, use the pick, peel it off, push that down, and the carrot nose, again, you just get to position it. I normally just position it to show you kind of midway over that little cheek, but you just do you. Then the clothes, couldn't be easier. We've got a scarf, 2 layers. So what's really nice, and I think this is so great when Jen does the design of this, is I don't like a lot of little pieces, so even though I wanted to have a striped scarf with all these little lines, we connected them. So you can see that thin little piece of paper. So not only does that add a little bit of a shadow, but it also keeps you from having to stick down like, you know, 6 little lines. So let me just peel off the back. All right, so see, once you grab it, it's just easy to peel off that release paper. These pieces stack up perfectly-ish, and see, very, very forgiving. You just kind of manipulate it. Now I'm going to peel off the back of the solid. So on the Xyron pieces, really, it to me is the easiest, but if you were going to do assembly line for gluing, you could do the same thing with liquid adhesive. Just build the same way, because that's going to give you a little shot. Just make sure that you're not using anything super shiny. So on the scarf, you see that little bit of black that's left over down there? Well, that's going to get covered, because the scarf goes wherever you want it to go. It can go high, low, turn, whatever. And then we have the skinniest little stovepipe top hat. Look at how cute that is. And then it's got a tiny little band. So you see on the die, there's the top hat, and then that little piece right there is the band that goes on the hat. So we're going to peel that off. And I'll stick that down. So this could be, you know, you could add other dies. That's another fun thing. If you've got maybe a little holly die and you want to add a little holly leaf to his hat, gosh, that'd be fun. Or if you had some other little snowflakes. We're going to peel this off, and believe it or not, that tiny little line of sticky is enough to stick right on his head, just to give him a hat, and there you go. So this hat, of course, can move. You can bring it up right to the very edge, and so you've got your little snowman, and you've got your Santa, and they're so simple. You just build and go. Couldn't be easier, right?
Yeah, they're so
simple.
cute.
Question on what paper did you use?
So I'm using a lot of different cardstocks. The textured cardstock is just Sizzix cardstock, but it could be any color cardstock. The white, I use distressed watercolor cardstock, but I put Xyron on the textured side because I like the smooth side, but it's also kind of bumpy. I don't know if that makes sense. But really, you can work with many different kind of cardstocks, but typically, if you have any kind of linen cardstock, or, I mean, I know so many different companies, even Simon Says has different packs of cardstock. Play around with papers and textures, but keep your scraps. Believe it or not, like, you can cut so many different carrot noses out of the smallest little piece of orange cardstock, and that to me is the benefit. I think, you know, I have all these little bowls of colored cardstock that I work from that I just, even the smallest little scrap of paper, you would think, why would you save that? Well, as makers, you know that scraps matter. Scraps totally matter. And then you have all these little pieces. Like, this is my buffet of Xyron cardstock. So I have it sorted by color, and so when I need a small little piece, it's all there, and all of this is adhesive back, so it all works the same way. That just makes the die cutting part just go so quick. Okay, so what can you do with these? Now, I know Heidi's going to show some amazing makes from so many creatives, and I wanted to take my approach of saying, okay, let's just say you sat down and you made a bunch of these. Now, you didn't see any inking on this, which is shocking for me, but also this is one of those that, like, I was actually okay not inking. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud, but that is the truth. When I was making them, like, I think they look great the way they are. So what I wanted to do is just give you some ideas of if you made a whole pile of these, you made a bunch of these Be of Good Cheer little characters, a bunch of little Santas or a bunch of little snowmen, what could you do with them? What could you use them on? Well, I think when it comes to quick makes, I'm your guy. I can just put stuff on there and really not overthink at all. So it's really about getting out dies that you have. Maybe foundational dies like a rosette or a matchbox or a gift bag. Maybe it's older dies that you bought in previous years that you're like, oh, I really love that. Get those out because you can really rework them, give them kind of new life. Or maybe if you have the new side orders, these are perfect for these, both in scale and in style and aesthetics. So here's some things that I created. Just a whole bunch of things where I took those elements and just used them as stickers. So the first thing, I'll put this out and I'll just grab them, it's just easier on camera, is the rosette. So you can take the Vault rosette die, you can make as many paper rosettes as you want. Use that in the center, pair it with the sticker. This is from the Ideology sticker book. See, you can see I use the little sparkles there in yellow and put it on a paper straw. So this is something that you could tie onto a gift because the straw really allows you to do that, or you can glue this onto a gift, or you can put it at a place setting. You can do this you tie it to a bottle of wine. I mean, there's a lot of little elements, but you can make a whole pile of rosettes, use them as ornaments, decide what you want to do with them, but you can see that as far as scale, they work perfect in the center of rosettes. You could also take the idea to a little gifty. These are cute. This is one of my favorites. This is the Vault Matchbox. So this makes a little matchbox die. And these are perfect to go on there. This little drawer, you can put candy in there. You know I'm going to put candy in there. But this could also be for, you can fold up some money if you wanted to do it that way, and this slides in. You can also put a little string, and maybe this is an ornament, so you can hang these on a tree or in the stocking, but you can see how these dies, they fit perfect on the top of that little matchbox. And on these, I actually cut the little sparkles out of metallic. So they look more like shiny little stars, or for the snowflakes. And look at this, I even switched up the colors. So instead of red, I did green on the hat. Instead of green, I did red and pink. So you can really use whatever colors you want when it comes to playing around with decorating. If gift cards are your jam, well, another Vault die, one of my favorites. This is the pillow box and bag. So this creates a pillow box, a dimensional, a pillow box, little fluffy box. But this little bag is perfect, and I talked about this during the hoopla. It's perfect for a gift card. So I had these bags that were already made. I just made these little paper bags. You can also buy these bags at certain craft stores. But this one is designed specifically to fit a gift card. And I love how I took the, talking to myself, I love that idea, Tim. See, those are the voices talking to myself, going, hey, that was a good one. But I loved taking the side order fresh brew, just using that little coffee and pairing it with these little characters, because I think it's a fun way to just make something more customizable, more personable, and very easy. And if you have a whole bowl of these already made, so if you just say, you know what, for the day, I'm just going to make as many of these little characters as I can, and who cares how you're going to use them? Trust me, you'll see throughout the season that it becomes really fun where it's like, oh, I want to dress this up. Boom, stick that down. Because you can also add it to things like maybe you have tags, whether they're pre-bought tags or maybe they're tag dies. Just stick these on tags or stick these on labels to make something personal or customizable. I love that. Another gift card idea is using this side order. I love letterboard because this has the embossing folder. You just emboss black cardstock and it makes the letterboard background, and then you get a full alphabet with numbers, so you can personalize this. You can do whatever sentiment. So this is merry and bright, and this just says winter wishes. And I love how also you can use, so this is just using, Simon says, dimensional squares, but you can dimensionalize these, and it's okay that they overlap the words. It just gives it more of a personal vibe. I embossed this, I put it on cardstock, and then I just decided, you know what, I want a gift card. So your cards don't have to be A2s, they don't have to be anything, they can be whatever size you end up cutting it to. But this one is just a 4 1/4, 2 1/2, because that's what fits the embossing folder, and I wanted it a little bit wider, so I put it on some colored cardstock. But this is a great way to just, attach a gift card inside if you want to send a gift card as well. You can tell I love collecting. I do collect Starbucks gift cards. That is the truth. I have several hundred throughout the years. I've been collecting them for so many years. I love them. And then if you're not into gift cards, you're like, look, I'm a card maker. I don't want to make these little frilly rosettes. I don't want to make matchboxes. I just want to make cards. Well, same thing. Get out a big word die and just stick that right in the middle. So I think any word that has an O, so like Noel or joy, they were perfect on there because I just got to dimensionalize it and take a look at those beautiful embossing folders. So even though as you're shopping for December, I'm telling you, Simon Says Stamp, I talked about these. Like their embossing folders are just, they're next level. I love the little stars. I love the little holly. I need to get more. I do love these.
Oh, thanks,
so
Tim.
Just some quick ideas. Again, I did no inking or anything on these pieces. I just used them as is, but these are all really quick makes. And I think that's the whole inspiration when Heidi and I are collaborating on Diecember, that we want something that's just going to be, well, that's going to help you get through the season and just give you that little spark of creative magic. So yes, be of good cheer. I love it.
Genius
That was fun.
makes,
But that's not
Tim.
all.
I love those match card boxes, and of course the gift card, the different ways to give gift cards and pockets and things. So Reed's gonna put us both on the screen for a second before I show my makes. That was wonderful presentation, Tim. Absolutely spectacular. I love seeing you assemble. I love seeing your tips and tricks. I love seeing what you've come up with your makes, and I know our audience does too. Which reminds me, we're gonna do a little bit of housekeeping, Tim, while we're on screen together. If we have an audience, if you're watching live, show Tim some love. Give him a comment. Let him know what you think. Put some hearts in there. Communicate. Share. I love to do that when I'm on my watching lives too. And more housekeeping is, if you're watching us live, great. These dies are while supplies last. If you're watching us on rewatch, they're while supplies last, but we hope to have enough to get us through December. We usually run out towards the end of December, but we do know if you're watching us on rewatch, hop over to the store. This is December 2024. This is Cyber Monday, but give it a try if you're watching us on rewatch. Some other housekeeping. People have asked while Tim was demoing if you could use other coupon codes. No. If you place $25 of Tim Holtz product at simonsaysstamp.com, this promo will automatically be added to your shopping cart. So you just pay attention and make sure it's there. Refresh your screen. We have thousands of people like slamming the website right now. So if something happens, just refresh your screen. If you don't get the result you want, just email service@simonsaysstamp.com and we will take care of you. Okay, I want to make sure I hit my notes, Tim, before I go to showcase. Definitely not good with other coupon codes.
I think, you know, when it comes to these promos, and I think that's also great to just how passionate makers are and how supportive they are of Simon Says Stamp, that yes, typically when we've done other collabs, like they sell out, they're quick, but this one is just different. This really, and you know, I'm gonna honk your horn because I think, you know, when Heidi does this Diecember promo, December's really about the Simon Says Stamp brand, which is great. They had a great release yesterday. If you haven't seen it, you need to check that out. But I love the fact that she still wants to collaborate with other brands and other companies, and the fact that she wants to do this as a gift, just to say thank you so much. I mean, we know as we get into the holiday season, it's really nice that you get a little perk, but it's also very cool that you're getting something exclusive and collectible. And this is a great way that as you do purchases throughout the month, and if you need to stock up on your Tim Holtz stuff, especially seasonal, my advice would be stock up on seasonal, or the new palette pink fabric, because Simon Says Stamp sells my fabrics now, which is absolutely wonderful. It's just a great way that you can get these dies that could be gifts, even if you're not gifting them this year. They're going to be even more collectible next year when you gift them to that new crafty friend that's like, oh, I missed out. You're like, no, you didn't. You got you covered. So I love that. So thanks, Heidi, for really, you know, pouring your heart into wanting to do this and wanting to do this the very best, and like it's always a pleasure. It's great. But we've got more
thank you,
creative fun.
Because
I can't wait to see
I mean,
I
we've
haven't seen
no
anything.
sooner than finished last year, December, we were already talking about December for this year. So it's definitely planning ahead. That Tim is really good at planning ahead. Okay, Reed's gonna switch cameras because I'm gonna show some of the makes that we've got here. I'll go here. So one of the questions I saw come online was about the dies. This is what the dies actually come to you. They come to you in this little, I guess you call it a pouch, and they are stuck on here. They're already separated, so you don't need to cut and file them. Love that. They're magically stuck onto there. And like I said, the elves are going to put this in your cart. You'll see it in your cart on the website once you purchase $25 of any Tim Holtz product. So now I'm going to show you some makes. This is the front of the die, and look how Heather Rui, she literally made hers look like the front. And hold on to your hats, people, or in this case, your scarves and your hats. She made a tic-tac-toe board. I love this.
fun.
Thank you, Heather, for doing this. I did a little thing for Stamptember, and now this idea of tic-tac-toe took a step further. And so she die cut multiples. It's really fun to sit and assemble. I know Tim was talking about, it doesn't matter where you put these on, but assemble a bunch of these if you're going to do it at once. And you've got all your little snowman and Santa Clauses, and hey, we can build a snowman together. I don't know, I live in Ohio, so we had a big game this weekend. And you know, I don't know if you know about the Michigan-Ohio State game. Sadly, we did not come out ahead, but this is something you can customize your scarf colors. So I want to show you. I have a beautiful make by Callie Person. She customized her scarf with different colors, and how beautiful. And Reed, thank you for turning on her lights. She's got the tiny lights, the Ideology tiny lights in the background here. How gorgeous is this make? So 3 cheers for Callie Person. She used all Tim Holtz products to create this beautiful vignette box. And this is something that you would make and display year after year. Speaking of making something to display, pardon, I'm sorry, Tim's in the background and I need to stop talking. What'd you say, Tim?
Sorry. I love that she used the vintage sled die paired with it. I mean, you can see so many different dies used with the greenery and the bold tidings, and I love how she's got the Ideology window. And those tiny lights, I love the color ones. Just heads up, those are not coming back next year. So if you love the multicolored tiny lights, like I love how they're diffused behind like looks like a sheet of vellum. That's just so good. So if you love those, definitely, that's a great make. Well, I love it.
Isn't that spectacular?
This time. It's weird being on this side of the camera. Like normally I already have all the makes lined up, and now I'm like just my face is glued to the monitor. I love it.
Oh, good. And the mica flakes too on the bottom of that. Thank you, Tim, for taking the time to talk about the individual products. I tend to get on a roll. So Allison Fraser created, we talked about making something that you could display year after year, just delicately wrap it. You know, the best wrapper I know is Mario. He delicately wraps, makes, and sends them to us. And just delicately wrap it, and you can bring it out next holiday season once you've spent all that time. Look at these caps. These are Ideology products. I love how Allison made these into her snowman.
Huge. That's in the layers, the Christmas Layers Emporium. I love that. That's
Yeah.
so clever. That's
And
so
the little
clever.
pine cones, those are Ideology too, and I think those are called
the mini
pine
clipboard that
cones.
it's on. She did that whole mini clipboard Ideology. Gosh, and I love how really the mica flakes. I mean, listen, mica flakes for the win for Christmas for sure. So good.
See those mica flakes?
Love it.
Ah, gorgeous. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to some cards. Here, I'll put these in the background so you guys can continue to see how beautiful. This card is by Kathy Cowles. She also did some Sizzix dies in the background. That's the wreath. She added 'Tis the Season to Be Jolly, which she embossed. That's a stamp. Beautiful. Look how she shredded her edges. I don't know if she used the distresser or not. She folded her flowers
Love
to
how
give it
she's
some
got
dimension.
on that festive wreath, but then she's got it on that craft stock sparkle plaid. like the colors just really, it goes so well together. I love that.
I don't know if the camera's
fun.
picking that up very well, but this is a sparkle, Tim's new sparkle plaid from Ideology. Love it. And speak about producing multiples at once. Beth Opal used her Be of Good Cheer dies, and she even added sunglasses to her Santa.
I love that. I think
Background
that's so
paper.
fun.
This guy, he's got his specs on too. Thank you, Beth, for making that. All of these makers,
I love
thank
really
you for
the ability
coming
of
and
these dyes, because that face is a separate dye for Santa. I love just switching out skin tones and really just making it, you know, totally personalized and fun. I just think that creative options are what we're all about, and so I love that. That's great.
Well, I like how you showed too, Tim, the other dyes at the beginning of our live today, that they all play so nicely together. Like this Good Cheer right here, they're sized. The matchboxes are even play nicely and are sized to work well with the Be of Good Cheer dyes. This is by Natifa. She's got
I
a
love that.
Ideology clip right up here.
That's just fun.
This looks
I love
real.
the little bag.
Oh, she did. She actually cut the little stems off of a Christmas tree. These are actually little plastic stems.
I
And then
love
she's
that.
got
I
her pocket.
love the idea. Yeah, I love the idea of the bag as well. So just using the bag for a greenery versus a gift card, I think that's really cute.
Yep, I'm gonna clear these off and show some more. We've got something a little different in color.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that beautiful?
I
So-
love all those sparkles.
So I've got Karen from Karen Crafts sent both of these cars. She die cut with the metallic cardstock. Tim's metallic cardstock has lots of different shades of metallic. That's a good one to use. She used another Tim Holtz die with the Joy and the Noel on simple white backgrounds. Makes the beautiful rainbow colors pop. We got
I
more
love that. And I
blue
love the
scarves.
Christmas cutouts. I think what's also really nice about that little sparkly die is that they are, I mean, they're tiny, so obviously remember that when you get them. But those little sparkles, you know, we just, when it comes to a template, you start filling in the blanks, right? But I think when it comes to little sparkly dies, and I think these makes are a perfect example of that, is by not having them all connected, because some could argue, oh, you should put them all in one die so I don't lose them. Yeah, I get that, but the flip side is, like on the cards where you can do the negative, you can position those in different places because they're individual and use the negative, see with that metallic underneath. So keep that in mind. I mean, there's always great opportunity when a die is designed differently than, you know, maybe convenient you would hope it would be together. But I think for creative options, having those separate, that's a great example of, you know, using the negative and having that metallic as the reveal. Great examples. Love it.
And then Tammy B. She's got her snowman
fun.
as the top of her tree.
That's so cute. I love it.
And look
Yeah,
how
and that's the stencil, the modern tree stencil. So cute. Oh, and I just noticed, you see the ornaments? That's the pom-pom from Santa's hat.
No,
Yeah, you see it? It's the white with the shadow.
I didn't even notice that.
I just noticed that. That's so cool for ornaments. Brilliant. Look at that.
Tammy. And she even made her scarf plaid. I don't know if she used the plaid stencil to do that or a stamp, but she
I see it.
made her scarf in plaid.
So cute.
Speaking of plaid, I see more of the festive. This is Enza.
Oh,
She-
wow.
See that sparkle plaid?
That's so good. Look at
Joyful.
all those
I mean,
little
it-
sparklies around the outside. Oof.
She's got her little stars. Okay, I'm gonna clear, well, let me show one more card and then I'll clear. This is by Susan Opal. She did a bow with glitter in the background, and she even made Santa's eyes a nice handsome blue and used in a plaid embossing folder in her background. Okay, let me go on to some more because I've got some really cute tags, Tim.
I mean, you see these makes and you just, it's, oh, so good. So, so good. Look at these.
So Stacy H made these. Reed, were these top ones by Sherry Carroll?
I believe, but.
Okay, I'll start with Stacy's. Okay. See how she die cut her Be of Good Cheer and whoops, and added them to her tags. She used some twine at the top. This is some Simon Says Stamp actually, twine. And I like how she did her splattering and her techniques on the background.
Yeah, I mean, Stacy, like, anytime she does a lot of die cut stuff, you know, I talked about the simplicity of using colored cardstock, but Stacy really loves to use her inks and sprays just to make background papers. And that's just a great example that, you know, you can take just your white cardstock and get out your favorite inks or sprays and essentially make a palette of colored cardstock to die cut from. So, you know, you see the splattering. It's not necessarily splattering each piece, it's really just cutting it from a splattered background. And I think that just gives you that vintage vibe. I just love that.
With mica spray.
fun.
See the hint of the like iridescent? Oh, yes. And then I think Sherry Carroll made these. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong.
And Enza made the snowman one. I don't know who made or made the Santa one, the snowman one. I'm not sure.
Well, I think these are made by the same person. And can you guys hear that? She put sequins inside.
They're both Enza.
And the,
Little
oh
nugget
good, thank you,
gems.
Enza. And then we've got some of the jingle bells. I'm gonna keep
So
showing
cute.
some more adorable tags. These are also, I believe, by Enza. So she die cut with Tim's metallic cardstock. Oh, got an upside down snowman. And she used some of the red and white twine and created some tags.
Perfect little gift
I'm-
tags, perfect ornaments. Just great.
And then Ricky Bromero came through with more tags.
Cool.
I like how,
Look at those. So fun. I love the diagonal stripe. I love the colors. Very cool.
Tim, is that
Great.
from your Secret Santa? I don't recognize that. Is that from your stickers?
No, I think that's probably just a print. I mean, that's
Okay.
that's a whole other thing. Like, just remember, like, most of us, you know, at home have computer printer, so stamp stickers or just print sentiments to a scale, but they're cool.
Some splatter. And then I've got a few more tags. This one is by Mary Reiner. She put a real candy cane in there with a gift card. Now that we know Tim Holtz collects the Starbucks gift cards, I hope we're going to be mailing some Starbucks gift cards this year. Love that.
That's really cute. Oh,
Thank
look at
you,
that gift
Mary.
card. That's Tim. See, that's the thing about it. We don't have Tim Hortons here in Arizona, but that Tim Hortons coffee. See, it's a Tim card. Look at that. That's awesome.
Oh, I didn't even think about that one.
That's awesome. Look at that. I need my own gift cards.
Okay. RP Shutterbug, you guys can find her on social. She used the Be of Good Cheer here with the Happy Holidays stamps and dies. More tags. Okay, I'm gonna move on to some more cards. Sweep those
So
over.
much inspiration.
I mean, Tim, 17 dies.
Yeah, free with
Gift.
purchase. I mean, like, this to me, and we talked about this like when we were, you know, celebrating Stamptember in September, but now Diecember. I think what's so great about, you know, Simon Says Stamp and what you do for the industry is just your commitment to a certain category, because you bring attention to that, but you also remind people like why you bought the stuff, why you own the stuff, why you've collected dies, because every new die can breathe new ideas and life into things you've already had that maybe you haven't used for a while. And I think that these examples really show the versatility of a shape. It's so cute.
Yeah, speaking
Look at
of
that.
Michelle Peckham, this embossing folder with the oval, it's actually an embossing folder that was released last year. So she took what was released last year, she added another ball. I like that. She just took another round circle die and made her snowman two-story.
Yeah, so cute.
Barbara Terriau, she used a Simon Believe die here.
Gosh.
Cut out the postage. Aren't these beautiful? I mean, this is like Christmas. This is so much fun.
So much
Another
fun.
card, Michelle Peckham. She used an ideology frame. She added some gems. Loving how she actually put a little gem in the middle of her star as well.
Yeah. I love the pen work too, like the little dots on the scarf and Barbara's card with the little polka dots on the Santa hat. Like, I just think, you know, using a white gel pen or anything, even cardstock or stamps, it's really great. It's great to customize.
I've got another one using an embossing folder. So Jessica Vasher, All the Joy, that's a Simon set of dies. Now, just to remind everybody, this set is a gift. It's a gift with purchase. Any $25 Tim Holtz purchase, limited supply, Simon Says stamp, only while supplies last. I've got a few more pieces of inspiration to show you. Michelle Peckham, I love how she took the ideology frames and stepped them up. And these are from the layers, I believe. Tim, are these holly? Do you recognize those leaves?
No. Are they shiny?
Yeah, I don't know if those are from the layers or if she actually used a dye, but yep, they're shiny. And then
Recognize the
Kelly
stencil in the
Person.
background.
Pardon?
I said I recognize the stencil in the background, but I love that. I love the frame because, you know, that's where you give to someone you're like, you know, naughty or nice. I love that it's like a coal frame. So I'd give that to the right person. It's like, you know who you are.
Now there's some
That's just
sparkle plaid in the background too. It's not all naughty.
That's very cool. I love it.
And then Kelly Person did one with, she actually adds some flock to this too. Some card stock that's glittery. So you can make the hat different colors too. So not just red, but polka dot. I've got this, oh, who made this? Oh, Mary Reiner. Love how she splattered her stars.
Yeah. Look
Merry
at
Christmas
that.
from Tim Stamps.
I love that. And the ho-ho-hos from the letterboard, the side order. That's really cute.
The side order letterboard is great for card makers because they're sized to make any sentiment you want. So you could say ho, you can say howdy, you can say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, anything.
Very cool.
Mary Reiner made this card. Some postage. The postage theme this year is still hot.
Makes nice frames though. It really does. It's a great way to just frame your work. You know, highlight a certain focal point. So fun.
Look at his belly buckle.
I love that.
This is an embossing folder as well, the pine trees that you can cut. And I love, you've got Santa with his reindeer.
Dash away all 2021. Whoop, whoop.
I would love it. Tell us in the chat who has which previous year's Decembers. If you're in the chat, let us know. I'm curious. Do you have the Cardinal? Do you have the Dash Away All? Do you have Chili and Freezy? So this is another embossing folder. Oh, who made this? This is by Jessica Vasher. And then I have one more card I want to show you all.
That folder is really beautiful. Wow. mean,
I
'cause
can't remember the
like,
name of this
look at
one.
the wintry one, it's like winter and cold, and then the Santa card that you've already shown with the same folder in green, it's like, it just gives a completely different feel, like, you know, like ribbons. So to me, it's like either wind or ribbons. It's just really beautiful.
Beth Opal is in the chat, and she's going to tell everybody and link to that embossing folder.
A ton of people have them all.
Oh, you're kidding?
Oh, ton.
Cool. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank
That's
you. Thank you to all the people watching, because we couldn't do this and wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for all the people that wanted it. Okay, my last but not least, Jean Doringsfeld made this beautiful card.
Wow.
Look at the Full of Wonder. And she put tags in here. So let me pull this out again. This is Be of Good Cheer. This is the limited edition. Reed, you want to go to the front screen?
Yeah.
Just to remind everybody, that's the limited edition.
Bring Tim into it.
Yes, Tim Holtz with Sizzix die set. It's a gift for you. Thank you to everybody for making 2024 a great year, and Mario for making 2024 a great year. You guys are doing this on Cyber Monday. I mean, after a holiday week with turkey and pecan pie. I hope, did Mario make pecan pie this year?
Yes, he did bake his pecan pie.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
Every
Yeah.
time I see pecan pie, I think of Mario because I've heard before that he makes a great pecan pie. And I tried to make it one year, and pecan pie is hard
Yeah.
work.
It's the only pie I can make, honestly.
It was
And it's
so
taken
good.
me years to perfect it.
But it's good. And it's a bourbon pecan pie, so you know that it's got that extra little bit of hooch in it, which I love. It's delicious. So good. Yeah. It's like you won't pie for more than one reason. So good. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. And Mario, thank you for setting all this up for us today and helping us. I know Reed, Mario, and Tim were all behind the scenes all week, making sure we had the sound and the lighting. And we have new technology here at Simon, so we're still perfecting it.
You're welcome. We're always happy to help and really super happy to be part of Diecember.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
It's a-
Are there any
it's a fun
questions, Reed,
collab.
before we bid toodaloo?
Nope, that's it.
All right.
Let
Just a
me-
reminder.
Let me just remind
Yep.
something that, like, when you guys get this, because I mean, I think what's really great about this collaboration, and it's really, again, the generosity that you have, Heidi, to set something like this up. Like, you know, obviously when we're designing product as a designer, you design product with the anticipation of selling it, and you know, it's life of however long a product lasts. But I think for someone like you, and again, this even goes back to Stamp Timber, that you want to celebrate a specific part of the industry, and you're putting in the same effort as product design, but to design something to gift, I think that's really great. And I think also for the people watching, like, you can just see the excitement and anticipation of that. But that to me is just showing how much this industry means and how much you want to give back to the industry. And I think that that's really great. I also feel that as makers, as we get into the season, just share what you make. That's what I want to encourage you to do. When you get this die, if you have one that you're saving, great. But if you have one that you use, at least put it to use. At least one time this year, just make something and post it and share it. It could even just be it assembled, because you see from the inspiration that all those different ideas is what keeps this whole industry supercharged. It is. It's that spark that lights the fire of imagination. And I think sometimes, you know, especially when we see all these, you know, you can look at me like, oh, I never have those ideas and I don't want to share. But every little idea builds to the bigger picture of what this industry is. So I just want to thank, you know, everyone for just being part and their contribution to this industry. And really, your team at Simon, from marketing to Reed and your AV guys, it's really been just, it's great. It's a lot to put on, but it's totally rewarding.
It's a thrill to
Love it.
get to do it with you, Tim. You know, I really, really mean that. I love it. This is so much fun to get to do with you. And when all these people get to join us live, like we get to see them live and hear what they're thinking and chat back and forth, it's a really unique experience. 10 years ago, we couldn't do this. 5 years ago, we weren't doing this. So this is great. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you to everybody for watching us live. Happy December, happy Cyber Monday, and hey, be of good cheer.
Be of good cheer. I'm gonna grab mine too. There we go.
Yeah, we'll both grab.
He'll pop his head in.
Yay!
December.
All right,
Thanks,
toodaloo.
everyone.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.